Love it.
All right. Well, welcome to the first ever episode of Rough Sketch the Final Draft. You are listening in to Coach Adam. I am the host of this show, and this is going to be our first ever episode. We are dealing with the topic of mindset over materialism. It's a very near and dear topic to all of us. Materialism is something that affects us all, and a healthy mindset can really help curve that type of vexation that has befallen many societies in times agone, and certainly in the world of today. I'm here, visited, and very graciously getting a chance to share the experience here with Lulu. She is my wonderful guest of today. She is absolutely phenomenal,
Hi.
and I'm going to allow Lulu to introduce herself to our loving, wonderful audience. So, Lulu, please tell our audience a little bit about
I
yourself.
can't hear you. I lost audio with you, Adam.
Absolutely.
Okay, there you go. Okay. I didn't hear you.
Oh, and I'm just going to go ahead and, yep, it's okay. I'm just going, I'm just setting it up for where you get a chance to tell our wonderful audience about you. So please introduce yourself.
Oh, wonderful. Sorry, you got cut off, so I didn't hear that.
Okay.
This is my time now to present myself. Hi, everybody. Thank you. I did hear your kind words, so thank you. And I'm so grateful to be here. So excited for you. Congratulations for this beautiful new journey that you have decided to embark on.
Oh,
Your guests and your audience are very lucky to have you share your wisdom with them, and I appreciate you letting me be the first one. So,
of course.
Respect and honor. Hi, yes. So I'm Lulu. Yes, that's my name, my real name in my ID. Nobody believes it. And live in New York City. 44 years old, a mother of two, and a lifestyle beauty coach. What does that mean? I am an energetic healer. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a makeup artist for over 2 decades in all industries, from fashion to beauty to, commercials, you name it, I did it. And then I also do life coaching. I teach the philosophy of law of attraction. So I combine all of these traits and just do what I do. And I try to share my story and inspiration in any chance I get in order to, help us all understand that we all are the same and we all carry the same journey. The lessons are always the same. They just come in different ways to each of us with the reality that we choose to manifest to and work on. So I'm here trying to live that life sharing beauty. I have beauty workshops that I teach that are aligning inner and outer beauty together, but we can talk more about that later. And people, of course, are welcome to visit my page and visit my website, lulumua.com, and you can find all the information about everything that I do. And I love you, Adam. Thank you for giving me the time to introduce myself.
Absolutely.
I always feel like there's so much to say, just from an introduction.
I don't know where to start, where to finish, where to add the tagline. So, and of course, to the wonderful audience getting a chance to listen, we'll have all the links in the description and everything else like that in the notes afterwards for these shows for you to connect with the amazing Lulu. I highly suggest you follow her on Instagram. I hear that she's now doing amazing things on TikTok as well. We were having a little bit of chat before we started the show today about that too. And I'm humbly going to get there. She's encouraging me to get there too. So don't worry about it, guys.
Yes. We need Adam on TikTok. Tell him I'm a beginner, but
I'm working on it. I'm humbly a little bit, I'm shy to a certain degree in that regard. So it freaks me out a little bit, but I'll figure it out. So she's encouraging me. So hang tight.
Yes.
So in that regard, I thank you for all the humbling compliments in that regard. And I'm honored to have you here. I wouldn't have started this without you. And just to take a step back to obviously give the credit where credit is due to anyone that listens in this sense, this wonderful woman that I have on the show today actually is the inspiration over a year ago that I actually even first thought this was going to be the right path for the direction of my life. In my corporate career, I decided to make a transition in my own world to wanting to get into life coaching. I got certified, very much inspired by this wonderful woman in that regard, because I knew that I wanted to officiate this and make it official. She may not know all the background of how much she's affected my world, but my father is aware of her. And she is quite the amazing woman. So if you want to find someone who is a healer, a helper, and genuine from the heart, she is the real deal. So I'm more than honored to have you on the show
Thank you.
today. Um,
Thank you.
and
Thank
that's a
you.
lot about, in the truest sense of just kind of starting it off there, even in my own journey. We can get into that a little bit, but we're here to kind of parcel this out with the idea about mindset versus materialism. And even for
Yes.
myself, starting it off, holding myself accountable. In that regard, materialism was something that I went after in my corporate career, of course, and most of us do. And that there's anything to shy away there and beat down the idea about success, but to humble ourselves and understand there's many gradations and versions of success. There's lots of ways to define
Right.
that. Success is not the same to everybody, right? And that all comes
Right.
into mindset. So for that, in that regard, I'm going to pass this off to you because, of course, this is a fantastic topic for you to cover. Can you just go
Yeah.
ahead and give our
Thanks. I'm
audience
gonna try to do my best.
yeah, we'll figure this out together, right? We're lifelong learners
Yeah.
of life. We're students of life. Can you give
Yeah.
just your definition, your take on what you think materialism is in that regard, and just kind of start from there?
Yeah. I mean, I think the best way to understand materialism, the way my mind see it, is what I
Mm,
speak of almost always and in all of my videos too, is that, the ego and the inner being and the soul. And the ego mind is the
mm,
one that, makes you believe that you are what you have and you are what you do, or
mm,
you are what people think about you. And that means you're always a slave to judgment and preconceived notions or just ideas of influence or attachments, because what they say means that or what I have means this. So everything besides actually you has a meaning that defines you.
yeah,
And mindset comes when you try to quiet that noise down, understanding that it's just going to do what it does because that's his job. We take on an ego the second we are birthed. For 9 months, we've been sitting in the belly, chilling, just growing, allowing, the wisdom, call it God, call it source, each universal wisdom, whatever you want to, however you connect to it. But we allowed it to do its thing and we trusted it. We didn't come and started saying, this is one of my favorite. If you're familiar with Dr. Dyer, he always speak about
yeah,
it, that we didn't say, oh my God, I don't have a nose, oh my God, I don't have toes. We were just there. And then the
right,
second we came to this physical realm, we decided to say, okay, God, we're good, thanks for everything you did, we're going to take it from here, and we're
yeah,
edging God out.
yeah,
And that's what ego really is. We're not trusting completely in universal wisdom. We're not
mm,
just flowing. We're starting to take definitions and judgments and all of those. So to try to have a mindset that is stronger than the materialism and then the
mm,
ego and the thing that I want more and I want, it's a daily work, and it's
yeah,
something that, I work on constantly. I still want to grow so much, and I had to deal a lot of times, with the whole, where do I see success for myself? Because I do
right,
know that true and real success is being happy. That's it. It doesn't matter. There's, so many people in the world that have material success but are miserable, and I see them, I know them, I know all of them, and it's just like you said, you are in the corporate world. You know what it is. You come, you do the work. Yes, the paycheck, you want the money, you want the benefits, but then you realize like shit is empty. I can't do this. There's no growth. And when there's no growth, there's no fulfillment. And if you're not fulfilled in your life, you'll never be happy,
amen.
And so I feel like that's where the mindset needs to start working. Like, how do I define success? And to me, success is happiness, but it doesn't mean that I don't want material things. I want physical abundance success. I want tangible things. I want to, not worry about bills and have the freedom to, do whatever it is that I feel like doing, travel the world, help more people. I know for me personally, I want more abundance and more expansion because I see how bigger I can help. If from having $3, I still give $1, imagine how much I'll give if I have 3 million. That's always my mindset about
Yeah,
giving and sharing. So I
yeah,
try to. allow the materialism things, and those type of things to be of in purpose, part of what I'm trying to do, because I know that all I want. Oh, forgive me, I forgot to put my phone in silence for you.
It's all right. Real life happens.
Um, I know, yeah, but yeah, I know, but when this thing happened, I get cut. Train
Yeah.
of thought. Okay, let's get back. Focus, centered. No, I'm just done.
She's zeroed in, folks.
But yeah, I'm zero. Yeah, I'm centering
Yeah.
myself in. But it really is what life is about, is that understanding that how do I see success, how does materialism, like tangible things, align with my idea of success? Is it centered only around it, and
Yeah.
and where do I see it? Because what I was starting to say before I was interrupted, that if I know my happiness is my success, then I have to be happy now, because my now is what creates my future, right? There is no future. There's always just
Right.
now, and this now
Yeah.
moment is creating the next now moment. And the only way for those now moments that we want in the future, that we are allowed to visualize, that's what we do. We want to visualize the life that we
Mm.
want, so we can manifest it into existence. But you can only do it from your now, and the
Right.
only way to visualize is from a place of feeling. Emotion
Mm.
has to go along with the idea of what you want, because if not, it's just dreaming.
Right.
Visualizing and dreaming, it's two different things. So if you want the materialism, the mindset has to have the understanding of, like, okay, I'm visualizing something for myself that I want to feel actually tangible in my hand, but I got to be happy for it and grateful for it right now, in this moment, as if I already have it, being happy as the wish has already been fulfilled. So
Yeah.
that's a huge part of the mindset over the materialism. Don't focus on the car or the house. Focus on how you want to feel when you're going to live in the house, or going to know that you have that car, because the feeling is what's going to get you closer and closer to to manifesting your visualized dreams.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's no limit to the manifestation of being able to get what we
Abs-
want in that regard, right? The universe says it's my
Absolutely.
pleasure to give. It says it in every
Yes.
spiritual book. You do the
Yes.
Ramayana, you go to Mahabharata, you go to Buddhism, you go to Catholicism, you go to Jewish, you go any spiritual activity across the world. It says, ask and it's my pleasure to give. Period. That's what it says.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
anyone that's
we
listening, that
we are
she's
co-creator.
that's it. That's why we're here.
We
The
are
universe,
co-creators. So
yeah,
right.
the universe
Yeah,
wanted to
if
bring us
we're if
into
we're
creation.
able to do all of this, God has done all of this, source has done all of this, but we're part of that creation. And if we can't see God within us and source within us, how are we expected to create what we want for ourselves? So that's where self-worth comes in, where you
Mm,
have to understand who you are, and you have to trust that you are
mm,
perfect the way you were created. You know what I mean? We go through journey, we go through shit, but we got to believe that we are just amazing the way we are, and with that build the life that we want. But if I'm not connected to the God within me, understanding that I can create everything I want, I'm part of this creation, my reality is mine, then
yeah.
I'm in trouble, put it like that, in a very good, nice language. I'm glad.
I'm moved always. It's so powerful. I know the audience is hearing it as well. This is one of the reasons what drew me into you as well. This wealth of knowledge coming from Lulu right now is absolutely just who she is as a genuine soul. She is a cellular woman who has just this connectivity. We think about cellular connection. This woman has a
Yeah.
cellular connection to all of us. And I'm going to
Oh,
kind of
thank you.
kind of guide this in that because we're on the idea of materialism. We've kind of touched a little bit about
Yes.
mindset, if you will, for the benefit of
Yes.
the audience. Of course, again, just because this is our first episode, the premise of the show is rough sketch to final draft to anyone that's listening, of course, in the future now
Yes,
as well.
yes. Tell them a little bit about that. I don't know. I didn't hear you said it once since we started. You jumped on to
So,
showing love because that's who you are. You just want to make everybody around you shine. So we went straight to me. But tell them a little bit about this podcast idea of
guilty,
yours.
guilty as charged. I do love you. Rough sketch to final draft. Rough sketch is about the idea of how life is a rough sketch, and we're always working towards our final draft. This is the reason why the mindset, where we're going to pivot into next, is so important. We live life with the pressure on ourselves, we're very self-critical. We are self-critical beings, which is also a good thing, and also sometimes can be a really challenge for growth. Um, is because we have so much out of ourselves that we want. We act like life is the final draft every day. Like we have to be perfect that day.
Right.
Every day a superhero, superwoman, every single day. And the truth of it is we're working towards that. And we need to remember that we're working on our rough sketches every single day. Our final draft won't even be published until after we're here and gone, right? In that regard. And usually how we're remembered isn't necessarily always up to us. So it's very key, anyone that's listening to this even
Yes.
now and in the future, to love people, because they're going to be the ones carrying your
Yeah.
legacy, and they love you, and they're either going to remember
Right.
you well or not.
Right.
So treat others
Your
well. I always
legacy lies with the people that you touched every single
right
day.
in the lives of others, and that's again the reason why, of course, as to bring it forward into the foyer here, is why Lulu is perfect to talk about this. She has grown so much, she has been through so much, as many of us have. And she has such a palatable, palpable way of actually explaining it, explicating it from her heart to her mind to her mouth. Sometimes there's a mistranslation that we have going on with many of the people out there in the world. Public speaking is one of the biggest fears in the whole entire world for a reason. People don't necessarily know how
Yes.
to put what's in here to write out there. It's in between the gray matter, it's in
Yeah.
between the ears, but they don't know how to put it out there. And the heart sometimes also gets clogged in the pipe congestion, right? You got to call on the plumber, a quote unquote life coach, or someone, a spiritual healer like a Lulu, to come in there and help get the
Oh, I
cloggage
love that.
so you can actually have it flow, right? That's all it is. We're just spiritually
Yeah.
helping cleanse and clear out the inside. So
Absolutely. Let that run through.
right? In that sense. So what is some of the background for you as we're going to now pivot back into kind of keeping it on track here? The ideas of mindset, and where did you get your mindset and your views of mindset? So feel free to share with the audience a little bit about your background, a little bit about the things you've been through. You have carte blanche, right? So where did that come
Oh
from?
God, do we have like how long do we have to
I know.
record? 20? Do we have a 24-hour?
Yeah. So
Um,
share as much as you can. Yeah.
yeah. So originally, I'm from Israel,
Yeah.
born and raised in Israel. If the viewers don't know, it's mandatory to serve in the army when you reach 18. So it's part of our life and part of our, part of my being is terror and war. That's how I grew up, where Israel is surrounded by enemies. We're not going to get into politics, but living there, you know
Yeah.
the truth and you know what's real. So
Yeah.
you're
It's a reality.
constantly attacked. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
attack constantly.
Yeah.
And so that's how I grew up in constant, we have that. The mind is already set for fight or flight, and yet living in Israel in that reality that you're constantly in survival mode because your life can end. You can go on a bus and the bus blow up. You can sit in a restaurant and the restaurant is going to be bombed. You don't know when you leave the house if you'll come back. And then you got to serve the army too. So it's like you grow with this tough life knowledge, and you understand that life is can end in any second, but
Yeah.
it's filled with fear and anxiety too. And when I was 5.5 years old, my father had a really bad accident. He drove drunk. It was actually a big party, and he wanted to take his sister home, and he drank a little bit, and he got into a very bad accident and brain injury, 2.5 months in a coma, a year in rehabilitation center. My mom was 34 years old with three little girls at home, and the whole, we all have those crazy stories. But after a year, she brought him home, and she brought him home only because she saw that they put him in a psych ward and started drugging him because they didn't feel like dealing with his recovery anymore. So she signed the paper and brought him home and decided she's going to heal him. And so I
Yeah.
grew up with a mom that I admired as, the most amazing, strong woman. But, she was going through pain and she was going through a hard time, and she was trying to live with now a totally different husband. He was the breadwinner, the strong man, the one that would pick me up with one hand and would play with me, and then came back somebody that yells all the time, curses all the time, like you don't know what's happening. And it's like looking at life like, okay, this is life right now, and so there's so much from there. All our belief system starts when we're little, right? Because all we know is what we adapt to, what we see, what's around us. That's what we learn. And we make that become who we are. And the search for our truth, when we start really healing and, do a self awareness journey, do a self-love, self-help spiritual journey in life, is really understanding who we are and understanding ourselves in our core, and I want to know who I am before all the shit that happened to me happened. That's like what I'm trying to understand, because I understand that it's their trauma that I took upon myself. Me being loud and cursing a lot is not something I was born with. It's something that I saw constantly happen, and it became part of my mechanism. Like, that's my default. That's how I deal with things, because that's what I saw my dad do. Or, on a deeper level, you want to be the nurturing and you want to give to everybody, because that's what I saw my mom did. She put everybody in front of her and left no room for herself, and so you become that too. And you go through all these things, and life was, as a teenager, of course, I hated my dad. He ruined my life. I was embarrassed to bring friends home. He's always yelling. Then you grow out of it. Then you start your journey. Then, you do forgiveness and you work on that. But in the part of the road is some heartache, some physical pain, some different things. I lost my mom to cancer. She was everything to us. Like I told you the story now, how that was just a little bit, but this was what she meant to us. She brought the family back to life, and she took care of my dad. And then, a day after celebrating 55, we lost her to pancreatic cancer, and it was fast. 3 months before I knew what happened, she was gone. And it was just like, wait, what is life now? Like, how do I live without my mom? What am I doing? I didn't even know what to do. And I had to go through that. And you go through issues with yourself, as far as, like, the heart matter. How am I with men? Because my dad was gone and I was dying for his attention. I remember myself as a little girl going to his bed and smelling his pillow to try to, like, feel connected to him, because he was away in the hospital, and he was away in one night. We went to sleep happy after a party, and I woke up to a stressed reality, people on the phone, police, craziness, like, you just, and you get to an age that you look back and you're like, damn, that's a lot of trauma for a little kid to go through. And we,
Yeah.
we hold this in our body, in our DNA system, in anywhere and everything. And that's how physical illness starts. Like, cancer comes from somewhere, an eye infection comes from anything, and everything is the way of the body to kind of, like you said before, it's signal to you that something is happening on the inside, and you need to pay attention. And so I just healed from breast cancer. Like, things always happen on their journey, but you have to understand that they're part of your journey and they're part of your reality. That's when mindset kicks in, and you build a strong mindset with the things that you go through and the things that you have to deal with. I went to divorce, 16, 14 years of marriage, two beautiful children, and then life is over again, changing, a different reality. Let's adapt again to something new. Financially, COVID. What I do is people. I do makeup and I do coaching, and so I can move some coaching to Zoom. But my workshops, my beauty workshops, are all togetherness. That's what I feed off of. I'm a people's person, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
6 months no work, and dig into your savings, and what am I doing? How am I feeding my children? And a divorce, and then you meet someone after the divorce, and it's like, wait, I haven't even healed from this. I need to deal with this, and it's constant. But throughout all of it, you gotta make sure that you meditate and you journal and you work out and you try to eat healthy and you take the time to just sit and center yourself and feel all the freaking feels. Cry about it, be mad about it, do whatever you need to do. But the only way to heal it is if you feel it. And you just gotta be there and be honest with yourself. And it takes work. It takes work. Reading, listening to inspirational clips, YouTube, that's the mindset. That's how it's changed. I have so many people, amazing souls who I follow, from the 1800s to the new ones that pop in 2023. There's so many souls, we just met through this beautiful platform. And you always want to take people as mirrors, and they bring something to your life, because you
Yeah.
create your own reality. So you brought them here, even if they broke your heart. You brought them here. You needed that heartbreak in order to heal something. And if you are able to take everything with gratitude, you can really truly manifest the most amazing life because you are going through it already with gratitude and you're concentrated on your now. So you live it in it's easier to find peace and serenity if you just say, you know what? Things happens exactly as they should. I missed the train. I missed the train. I wasn't supposed to be on that train. This
Right.
motherfucker, did whatever. That's on them. Like it doesn't matter. You can go to the lowest, you can go to the highest, but you take everything. I always said my mom passed away was the hardest thing I probably had ever had to go through. I for a year I was out. I was no connection. I couldn't look at people in the eye. I wasn't even here. I was just crying all the time. But I had peace with her leaving. I never once said, why her? Why now? She doesn't deserve it. Who the hell deserves it? Nobody deserves it. Everybody wants to be here for their physical journey. I want more time with my kids. I don't want to die tomorrow, but I'm not afraid of it because I understand that the minute I came in here, I knew I'm going to be taken out at some point.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I don't want to bring sorrow and pain and hardship into every experience. I want to create a mindset that allows me to just flow and be in ease with things. And like I said before, it takes work. So when you ask me how is my mindset throughout the whole thing, and what I just shared with you are like literally a few things. I did
Right.
really truly lived so much life. So,
Yeah.
but
For
I'm
the sake of the
grateful.
audience, this wonderful woman has been through so much. We are doing our best to compress a full life into just a few moments of learning and conversation for your benefit as a beautiful audience, and we love you for it. So this wonderful woman is
Yes.
incredible, and I think actually just even to have a
Thank
pause
you.
for a second, let the audience kind of
Yes.
soak it in. I was going through an
So
emotional roller
excited. Yeah.
coaster.
I talk a lot too. So please
Ooh,
stop me
oh,
whenever you feel
no, no, no.
they
I
need
love
to.
that. It's just that was a lot. I wanted to jump in and say, I'm sorry about the father. I love you about your mother and the
Oh,
situation. And my heart's just sitting here in my
yeah.
hands for you in that regard. I'm like, okay. So I'm sure that the
Thank
audience
you.
at
Thank you.
home and viewing this later is going to want to just have a
Uh,
moment to collect that. So,
Thank you.
and,
When I
and just
when I speak, it's like a straight line of nonstop consciousness.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
like a stream of consciousness. I don't stop. So just feel
Yeah.
free to stop
I'll,
me.
I'll throw you the lifeline. No, no, no. Just pull back in for just a minute. Yeah.
Yep. Hold on,
Yeah.
Lulu. And I don't see you well too, because my image, I don't know. I hope it will look good, but for me, you're
Yeah.
pixeled, so I can't. It's hard for me to see your facial expressions too. But go ahead.
Yeah. And so, world listening to this and watching this later, literally, we are extrapolating 100% the continent of America. I am in California, and this wonderful woman is all the way in New York City. So we are doing our best with Wi-Fi and internet and connectivity. So we're making it happen. So
Yeah.
we're doing the best we
Of
can.
course.
Technical difficulties will happen.
Yes.
Um, and
Yes.
just to comment on it, I mean, in the truest sense on some of those things, this wonderful woman Lulu has been through so much, and I would have never known from all the content that she shares and all the spiritual healing that she gives effortlessly and lovingly and endlessly to all of her viewers on her Instagram and her growing TikTok and through her coaching and through her makeup and through the history of her whole entire career. Like she mentioned at the very beginning, the 2 decades being in this career of helping and serving others. You'd never know. She's not the type to ever hold anything back. At the same time, you'd never know what she was going through, and she's happy and honest and open and vulnerable to share with you. She's been through so much, and she is so strong. She is an amazing, wonderful woman. She's an
Thank you.
example of a great mother in that regard. She has been through a lot. I was raised by a single father. I never even had the opportunity to have a wonderful mother. I would have loved to have had a great guiding light like this in my life, and I'm sure that many of the listeners will feel the same. She's just an incredible
Oh,
woman.
thank you.
She truly is.
Thank
So
you.
I thank you so much for sharing, Lulu. That's genuinely a
Thank
lot.
you.
So, and I know it's only a
Thank
snapshot,
you.
not
Thank
the
you.
whole entire thing. Yeah.
I know. And
Um, so
if
from
I
that, in
may
that sense,
say, go ahead.
hop in. No, go for it.
No, I wanted to say because you're so gracious with your words, and I listen to you, and it's funny because from the outside you say, I'm a great mom, and you wish, you had that, and at the same time I keep thinking, I don't know how my kids see me. I have a teenager boy that we go through our things sometimes, and I always have conversations with him. Like I speak right now, I speak to him too. And I know he half of the time he doesn't understand me. And I keep telling him, I don't care that you are annoyed by me. This goes into your subconscious and you'll understand it one day. But at the same time, I'm so hard on myself at times, and I try to be better, and I try to be a better version of myself. The work, the hardest part of the work is that ego mindset, material, like I want more for my kids. I want more for that. I want more. Okay, but be in the moment. Right now, you're here where you are. Just chill. You can't be constantly hard on yourself. How can I? And that's, we all do that. How are we
Yeah.
encouraging ourselves by putting ourselves down? That doesn't even make any sense. Do you see what we do
Mhm.
to ourselves? We literally
There it is.
encourage ourselves by putting ourselves down. And I'm like,
Right.
what are we
Right.
doing?
We're encouraging ourselves to fail, which is it's the inverse. It's literally the
Yeah,
reverse psychology, and we do it inside here. We need to learn literally have a
yeah,
better internal self talk. Yeah, continue. Yeah,
yeah. Because if I don't believe in myself, that's why I put myself down. Oh, you're doing this again. Oh, look at you. You can't even make this. And you can. So what am I doing? I'm putting myself down. I'm messing with my self worth. I'm telling myself that I'm obviously not the one I thought I could be or should be. So I keep myself stuck exactly in that place. And I don't
right,
understand why I can't manifest the life that I want, but I'm still doing the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. So my this part wants this life that you want, but at the same time, the other side is just keep putting you down, proving you that all you need is what you have because that's all you can do. That's what you deserve. Instead of telling myself, it's okay. I'm here where I'm here. I'm here where I'm at. That's okay. I've been in other places before that felt shitty and crazy and felt insane and felt like, what am I doing? And I don't know what I'm doing. And even with my kids, I know my son, I gave birth to him. I was 30 years old. He's the first visit to the hospital I had from my
yeah,
mom's passing because I held my mom's hand. I literally let her go. I was with her in her last breath. All of us sisters were with her. Um, but yes, thank you. That was really
I,
powerful, intense moment. We can talk about it in
mental mental
another
mental hugs
episode.
right now. I'm sending it
Yeah.
right now.
Thank
Invite
you.
as
Thank you. Thank
I
you. And yeah, so it's like it's crazy because I know that my son and the life that I lived with him and me not knowing everything I know and me just trying to be better for myself so I can be better for him and to try, I messed him up. We're all victims of victims. I see the trauma I took from my parents. I know he taking trauma from me and little by little I get to see it more so I get to help and heal it. And that's all we can pray for. It's not, I can't beat myself up for being like, look, your kid has I don't know, whatever, anxiety or this or that. Every kid has something different that they take from us, and you're like, it is what it is. I lived with anxiety, I lived with fear. I'm the most positive person, but the first thought in my head when I'm happy would be like, I hope I'm not gonna die and this all gonna be over. And you're like, why the fuck do I think like that? But it's like, what do you mean why? Do you see
yeah,
how you grew up? Do you
but
see everything you went
yeah,
through?
yeah.
Yeah, and we
Your
keep
body
being
is
hard on ourselves.
prepared.
Like, pause for a second. You went
Yeah,
through stuff. Look at what you went through. Tell them a couple of things from what you went through. You keep praising me. I'm so in awe of your journey, Adam. Truly, it's just you're so amazing, and everything you accomplished in life. With you and your dad and their journey and being homeless at times, and it's just like every time I hear your story, I get goosebumps, and it's just amazing because we really do all have a story. We're all the same. We just need to stop judging and just come from love to others and to ourselves so we can flow in this crazy life journey and try to make the most of it and the best of it while we're here before we leave and move on to the next one.
on to the
As
next.
Jay-Z says,
I
on to
I
the
appreciate
next one.
the next. I appreciate the kudos and the love back. I will also ask because we're on this mindset portion. So I'm going to ask an interesting line of questions here that's going to set you up for success here in a sense of let's have a good dialogue about this for also the listeners to think about. Now, Lulu,
Yes.
you are a life coach, yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Serious
Beauty
question.
life coach.
Yeah, beauty life coach and a lifestyle life coach and helping people with their beautiful mindsets because that's
Right.
that's what it's all
Yes.
encompassed. There's no way that one part of us isn't attached to the rest, and I know that's your
That
philosophy.
right.
Now,
That's it.
all right, here's a softball question that's really easy to ask from one coach to another. Now that you've become a coach, do you have all the answers?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Right? And so, if we don't have all the answers, then how did we become the way that we are? Why did we choose to want to help other people?
I I think what makes a coach besides the place of that real deep knowing that you're here to serve. Like that leads me every single day. And no matter what, I'm always there for someone, like always, every single day. And I'm so grateful for it. I don't want to do anything else. I don't need credit for it. Like, good for you. You're an amazing. No, it's not about that. He chose me as a vessel and I'm here for it, you know? So, but aside of that, because that's what I see, I always try to know more and learn more about myself first and foremost, because I know every experience of mine allows me to relate to other people. You know, losing my mom to cancer, I can relate now to all of these people.
Right.
Dealing with breast cancer, I can relate to all of these people. Living with someone with a brain injury, I can relate to all these people. Going through eating disorder, I can relate to all of these people. Divorced, single mother, heartbroken, played, you know, getting infected with a sex disease because you're stupid enough to believe somebody, you know, it doesn't matter. We go through so much shit in life. And we are okay with being open about it and talking about it and allowing people to see themselves within our journey. So I think that's why we do what we do, and we are actually choosing the path of coaching others, because we understand that, you know, the teacher is always the student and the student is always the teacher, and by helping others we help ourselves. So
Yes.
how much gratitude is in that? You know, it's just kindness always meets kindness back, and if you're here to listen, you are being listened to, and if you're here to see, you are being seen too, and you can't ask for more than that.
That's right. See, spoken from a true humble heart. In that regard,
Oh,
what we're doing here, right? If we're coaches, I think that I'm doing this for the both of us and for any coach out there, anyone who's ever even thinking about coaching in that sense. If you seek us out or other coaches, coaches never get into the business just because they simply feel like they have all the answers. That individual, if that was
right,
even ever the case, would be burned out in a day. They'd be done because as soon as they give
right,
advice and the person doesn't take it, that person would quit.
yes,
Instead, what I have found, what Lulu has found, what Lulu has taught me, what I've seen and we've learned from each other, coaches coach with coaches, right? Don't ever forget that too, audience. Like if you go to a therapist goes to a therapist, right? If a dentist goes to a
right.
dentist. Like it's not like the buck stops there. So like we grow from each other.
That's
Lulu
right.
and I grow together. We grow individually and then we share our light with one another. We keep growing. We're lifelong learners, as we said even before the show started, and we're students of life,
Excuse me.
period. In that regard, it's because we've been through things. We've actually been through things in life. And it's interesting that, as she just mentioned, that life somehow selected us to almost get rained on with the poop cloud a lot, really just raining down that poop cloud
A lot.
a lot. And then this individual, for some reason, was not just buried underneath poop, but they got a chance to be planted. And see, there's a mindset
Yes.
there. Again, keeping it on the same thread as mindset. There's a mindset to have seen our challenges as an opportunity for growth. And I
For growth.
swear, to anyone who's listening and to anyone who's ever worked with Lulu or myself and in the future for both of us, that's the whole entire thing. You go to a coach,
That's
it is
it.
literally like a language interpreter. It's someone who is doing. I speak four languages. I speak French, Greek, Italian, and English. Right, so like I got all these languages in my head. You have to go to an interpreter
Yes.
sometimes, right? If we have that internal dialogue, which I'm coming right back to what you were just going from, it's such a beautiful piece to parcel out and to chew on, and for the audience to listen to is such a beautiful thing you just shared. That internal dialogue has to be something that we actually learn how to interpret. It's like a different language. There is something inside
Yes.
you that is condemning, and there is also one that is inspiring. If you learn how to
Cheering.
talk
Yeah.
to the condemning one, if you learn how to speak its language, you can either silence it and ask it to be quiet and to be much more loving and see if it can come on to you. And then you can also learn how to speak the language of your positive, inspiring, supportive side because it's in there too. And it probably just hasn't been
Yes.
spoken to in a really long time. So going to a
Yes.
coach, going to a beautiful Lulu, going to myself, we're really just trying to be language
Yeah.
interpreters. And we're trying to learn your language to
Yeah.
help you speak better to you inside of you on your journey with
That's
you
it.
through your life. That's what we're doing. So
That's it.
I'm adding in.
And you
Right, that's
know,
it.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, please. It's a conversation. We're going to
Yeah.
cut each other off because we always have something to say. You know,
Yeah.
87% of personal talk is negative. I speak
Right.
about it in my workshops because the base of my workshop is basically I'm using makeup as a tool and inspiration for self actualization. That's what I'm
There it is.
doing. So I teach you a full makeup class, but I'm aligning it with, you know, personal growth. So I
Right.
always speak about self-love as the base for everything. If you want your base makeup to look good, you got to have the same thing in the interview. Do you want the base to be good? And the base is your personal talk. And like you said, understanding that life is happening for you and not to you. Nobody's punishing you. You're just here for the journey and you are creating it. And it's hard to sometimes believe that we're creating it, especially when bad things happen. Like, you don't want to believe that you created a life of breast cancer, but at the same time, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. Like, God damn, I manifested fucking breast cancer. Like,
Yeah.
okay, let's
Yeah.
figure this thing out. So the mindset is, like you said, learning how to speak to the negative and understanding that it's not real, because
Right.
you are in control of this box, no one else. If you can see your thought, then you're not it. You're the one that
Yeah.
created it. And if you can
Right.
create a negative one, you can also create a positive one. And the choice to do so, that's the hard work, because that's why people fall into anxiety, because their mind runs faster. They believe their own thought and they keep creating more and more and more. And that's the ego. So we all have that little battle going on between that and that. And we all just want to have an interpreter that helps us
Right.
understand that language. And if they can help us understand it, and the beauty thing about it, some people say you need a coach for life. I always say not necessarily, because if you
Right.
learn what they taught you, at least the essence of it, you
Yeah.
can do the work on your own. You can read, you can write, there are so many tools that they'll give you that you can use
Yeah.
them, but you gotta start with somebody. And sometimes a therapy session will be 3 months. Sometimes it will be one single session that's all you needed, somebody to clear out something for you. Or sometimes it can be a year and 2 years. It doesn't matter, but you will learn enough to know. And that's the difference, I think, between coaches and psychologists. We want you to grow and move on and out of our coaching. I don't want to coach you for life. That means I'm not doing my job good if I'm still having you dependent and needy on me. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Psychologists are different. They just want to keep bringing you over here to talk to you and get paid their little session while they're on the couch. And okay, yeah, come next week. Yeah, come. No, we're going to
Yeah.
solve this so you can
The next year.
understand, so you can
Yeah.
interpret. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And move on and deal with life. I want you to be able to get the tools and understanding on how to create a mindset that will help you with deal with new things that will come along your journey, because the journey will never stop, until it stops, until we drop and we're not no longer here. But until
Mhm.
then, you're here and shit is about to happen and get popping, and you just got to get ready for it. So
There it is.
get the tools, get the right tools, and work with someone, or just do, or come to our pages. We put so much free value in there, because
It's
that's what we're
true.
all about. And I don't think I ever got a compelling DM from someone that I never answered. I'm so grateful to know that there are people out there that every time they needed or felt comfortable or felt strong enough to just reach out and be like, I love your message. It touched me like this. I was on a break, this and
Yeah.
this. And it's from so many different angles. If it's heartbreak from relationships, if it's, career wise, if feeling unfulfilled, people trying to commit suicide because they don't believe they're worthy. I'm so grateful for the people I get to work with every single day, because they save me just as much as I save them.
I love that you said that. It's absolutely truth. And we get it from so many different parts of the world. Like when you're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anything, these are going to be uploaded on
Yes.
my YouTube.
Yes.
Right? In that
I
regard,
know. I
it's
love
you know,
YouTube. I
the
have
world.
YouTube too.
There we go. Right, there we go. We'll get a chance to plug all these things.
I'm sorry. I'm going to pause it for a second. We can keep talking, but I really have to. It really bothers me that my
Yeah.
Kindle is not lit up there, because it's the fire element is so beautiful for
It's
purifying
very
and for
true.
igniting, that I need to
Yeah,
see it in my peripherals. So
I
forgive
agree.
me, but
Okay. Also, that's how we got started
and
in our
here's
chats. Anyways,
yeah.
I was calling you. Yeah,
Like,
I
see,
would always put
so much better,
the candle emoji. There we go. There we go. Got them
so
both
much
lit.
better. I know. I
So
know. It's crazy. And a little tip for everybody. Every time you light up candles, don't light it with a lighter. Light it with matches if you can. The way a match ignites, it's like
hmm,
the constant fire that is always available to you. Lighter is on gas. This is nature. So It always
Mm.
create, and fire has a memory. So every time you light a fire, it has the memory of the fires before it. It's just, it's a little thing. It's a little thing us alchemists do.
See, I love this. I love her. I do. There's reasons on why. I think the audience is already falling in love with you.
I
It's already
love it.
there.
I love it.
Uh,
Okay, so
so
let's move
I'll,
on.
I'll continue going forward with our topic here in the sense of where we are with even mindset to materialism. We're pretty far into the show so far, and I'm so grateful for the way that this conversation has gone. This has been a great moment
Yeah,
in
are we
time.
in topic? Are we on topic? Because I feel like I'm just talking and we're just talking,
No,
but we're
no,
still on
we haven't
topic,
veered
right?
off. You know, people in the comment section keep us accountable. I think we're still on topic. It's all been relative. It's all been
Wonderful.
related to the core concepts here. In that true sense,
Wonderful.
let's go deep, right? Let's go a little bit deeper for the benefit of the audience. And this is where I'm going to set you up with a nice, good question for you to go deep as you want,
Oh,
spiritual all the way. And
let's,
this is where we live.
let's
This
go.
is where we're at. In that sense, that
Yes.
if we get into the proper mindset, not only is mindset pivotal in so many different facets of our lives, from success in business, in our relationships, in our own self journey, all capacities, mindset help. Let's talk about something that's really, really, I would say, almost revolutionary in the sense of the field of science, the way that it's also coming out now with quantum mechanics and everything else like that, about how the mind can literally control the body, which is legitimately mindset over materialism in that regard.
Yes.
Also, if you get the right mindset,
Yeah.
speaking about cancers, speaking about body ailments, Lulu, tell us something about the fact of when you get your mindset right, what is that possible for the body to be able to heal, to be able to
Yeah.
overcome, reduce ailments, those types of things? Expand upon
Yeah.
that, because I know that you know
Thank
about
you.
this. So get into it. Yeah.
I know some. I'm still
Yeah.
learning. I'm, more and more every day. I would say though, for the audience that are listening, that if that field is interesting to you, just you gotta listen to Joe Dispenza. Sir Joe Dispenza is a
Favorite.
master when it comes to that mind and your reality and just how the combination of it all.
Absolutely.
But the way
One point.
part of the way
Yeah,
he
hold
go
on, real
ahead.
quick. Just what that's another thing too. Real quick, just attack back to where we were talking about the difference between coaches or psychiatrists. We'll recommend other great leaders as well, other good
Oh,
spiritual teachers. If we aren't the one for you, we'll recommend, right? Where that isn't necessarily always going to be the case
abs-
in other fields of help in that regard. We'll do this almost pro bono. We want to do this because we love you and we want to see you get help. So if it isn't us, if it
right.
isn't Lulu, if it isn't me, so we'll direct you. So we're always willing to
Yes.
recommend. So she's a great example of this, and I'm learning from her as well. So continue on, Lulu.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the way he says it all the time is that your personality creates your personal reality. And the way that happens is our environment is our reality, and our environment really truly controls the expression of our genes. So we all, you have your DNA and you have your gene and everything, but a disease doesn't necessarily have to start from just being there. It's your behaviors and the way,
Right.
it's not just the food or just the, you can be organic, you can be vegan, you can be whatever, you cannot eat sugar. But if you don't change really your behavior,
Mhm.
nothing, those behaviors are what the mind is familiar with, and that's how it creates the emotion that goes along with it. So if I'm constantly, my default behavior is to yell and too loud because that's how I grew up. I can eat all I want, but that behavior and that pattern of behavior is connected to a belief. And a belief that might mean that I'm not being heard if I'm not loud because that's how I grew up or whatever it may be. And this is how a belief creates a pattern, and a pattern is creating an environment and a reality in which I always feel the need to yell. And I'm always yelling because nobody can hear me. If I'm not yelling, you don't listen to me. That's a reality I created. So if I want to not create some kind of a physical illness that have to do with it, and it can be anything, if it's feeling unheard or unseen, a part of the body will be responsible for that. If I feel like nobody's listening to me, maybe something in my throat will start happening. I'll have a sore throat often because I feel like I can't express myself the way I want to. Whatever it may be, it's the environment changes the expression of the gene, and it can be healthy. But if I'm constantly creating an environment that feeds into those beliefs, that gene is going to change the expression in accordance to what feeds it. So that's how I
Yeah.
can create a disease. So, for example, with breast cancer, I had to dig in and figure out, what does the breast mean? What does the right side mean? Why all of a sudden, at 40 something year old, why now? Obviously, it could have happened in any other time, but it happened now. So what kind of patterns of behavior led me to manifest a physical illness, to the point that that emotional heart and that belief system that I developed from that initial emotional hurt managed to change the expression of the gene to the level that now the cells are, betraying themselves and fighting against themselves, and that manifested as cancer. And the breast is a lot about nurturing and nurturing others. And if you remember, I just told you before, I grew up with a mother that gave up her whole life for her family, especially after my dad's accident. She was his caretaker. There was no one else, and she's 34. She haven't even started living life. Now when I'm 45 almost, and I think about the fact that she died at 55, I'm like, she literally so young. Like, we have this
Yeah.
idea of age when we're young, but when we grow old, we understand the concept so differently.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell is
You turn 30.
55?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
18's a bit.
yeah,
I know. Yeah. 18, though, we're like,
yeah.
oh my God, 35 is 90 years old. No, it's not.
Ex-
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Talk about,
And
yeah. Talk about
there's
limiting beliefs. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and talk about that too. Like, there are amazing researchers that show how age and the belief that body needs to deteriorate with aging is insane. It actually needs to get better and better, because you're learning and you're getting healthier and you're letting go and you're healing if you're doing your journey. That's why, we decided that that 40 is midlife. Who said for 80 can be midlife if we choose to, as a collective, to start believing in that? Many years ago, at the old ages, 40 was like older, like
Right.
people, the life expectancy, doubled in the last few decades, because or more, I don't know, but it's crazy to
Yeah.
understand that our ideas can actually define our well-being, and it's this box controlling this whole system. And the more power we give the negativity within it, the more we'll see a reality that we not necessarily enjoy or choose to, and the more we'll be. And we don't need to fight with it. You don't need to fight with it. Like you said, you need an interpreter. You need to understand it so you can make peace with it and live with it. I remember when on my first MRI, the nurse was trying to be kind and, to encourage me. And she was like, "Why are you here for the MRI?" So I said, I just found out I have breast cancer. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but it's okay. Now it's time to fight." I said, "No, love, I don't fight anything. I'm going to let it go with love. It came with a reason. I understand what it wants from me, and I'm going to let it go with love." And she stood there in awe. She's like, "Oh my God, I've been a nurse for over 23 years. I've never heard anyone in my life speak that way about cancer. She's like, I have," and she was like, goosebumps everywhere. And she was like, it's so beautiful. We don't really need to fight. I said, I'm not fighting it, because it's part of me right now. And I don't want to fight me. I want to love me. So I was
Yeah.
letting my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, kiss my boobs every single day. I'm like, all they need is love. All they need is love. So she
Yeah.
would come and be like, "I love you," and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, we're talking. I didn't make a crazy
Yeah.
thing about it. I told them I
Sure.
knew I'm going to get the surgery, and I know I'm going to heal myself afterwards. I don't want treatments. I don't want anything. I'm doing my mushrooms. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing my herbs. I eat very clean. I try to do what I can to understand my body better. And every time, I was addicted to sugar. I was a candy freak from the day I can remember myself. And for me to not
Yeah.
eat sugar at all, in no way, shape, or form, is insane. And we can change. We just sometimes don't believe we can. But it's all the mindset. If I'll tell myself I can, and I actually help myself believe in that, not because I want it tomorrow and then I put myself up for failure, because I understand it's a journey, but I see it. And, I always wanted to be vegan. How can I be vegan? I love tuna and I love sushi and one day I
Sure.
was like, all right, I haven't had meat in 10 years. And that's another crazy, like I stopped watching TV because I figured I don't have
More.
time for that anymore. All these things are controlling my mindset, the news, the negativity. They're trying to feed me different things that I don't want to start my day like that. I don't want to finish my day like that. I'm just going to listen to music. And I don't even watch shows. I'll watch a documentary once in a while. And I was addicted to TV. I was a TV guide walking on two legs. You'll ask me what show, on what channel, I'll tell exactly what day and what time, you know? So you can change, and you can change the mindset. That's, I think, the most important thing of what I'm trying to make a point out of the million stories that I talk about here, is you really can change your mindset. This is not set for life. This is just part of what you know right now in this moment in time. And the more, the more you'll grow, and the more work you'll do, and the more curiosity you'll have about what's hidden in here and who am I really. Don't be scared of figuring out who
Yeah.
you are. We all messed up. We all went through shit. We all crazy, It's okay. Just understand who you are so you can embrace it and you can love it and you can be okay with it. We want to be loved by others. We want to be seen. We want to be related. Do we do that to ourselves? Do we do it to others? We're so quick on judging everybody. You know what I mean? So material body and physical body has everything to do with the mindset. And the more I find peace in here, the more this will have, a better physical energy and just all complete well-being, truly.
I do. The mindset matters over the materialism. Yeah, just to touch on what you just said with the
Absolutely.
ego. That's the
Yeah.
materialism. That is a piece of the materialism. It's where the lens of the eye is focused through. And we have a hyper microscope, and the macroscopic is actually the bigger lens that we should be looking through. If we did see the connectivities, the bigger
Yeah.
pictures for everybody, and we see someone who's walking a certain way or dressed a certain way, and we don't microscope those entities and instead individualize and macroscope them, we'd see that they're going through stuff too, that they probably have a life, they probably have a story, they probably have hidden traumas, they're probably suffering from something that they don't talk about and no one knows about. So give them grace, give them understanding, give them the benefit of the doubt, and go from that direction. I love what you were saying also about the fact of don't fight a thing, because obviously it's going to fight you back. And that's a big
Yes.
piece of where I work on with coaching. And I know you do too. So
Yes.
as another person like Wayne Dyer, we both love and respect, another great individual like Maria, Mother Teresa literally said
Mm-hmm.
when she was alive during the anti-war days, she said, if there's an anti-war rally, don't invite me.
Don't
She
fight me,
said, if
right?
there's a pro-peace rally,
Yes.
I'll go, because you want to
Absolutely.
be pro the thing that
No,
is. Focus on the
right.
energy where you want it to go. You don't want to send
Absolutely.
energy into the not.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite. That's one of my
And then
favorite quotes ever.
and we didn't plan this, okay? So this is this
No,
is this is
no,
100%
no, absolutely not. And it's
this
one
is
of my top
yeah,
favorite quotes.
yeah,
And another
no,
great one is, if you want to talk mindset as far as like work wise, right? Not spirituality. Let's give to work. So Tony Robbins
yeah,
is one of my favorite people in the world. He saved my life in 2017. I was, he's amazing. And one of my favorite saying of his is, what we resist persist. Stop fighting it. Stop fighting it, because where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're going to keep resisting it, you're putting your energy on it, you're putting your attention on it. Where's it going to go? Think about it in the law of attraction mind way and philosophy. If I'm giving it my attention, I'm going to get more of it. So if I don't want this back pain, stop talking about it. Stop telling everybody, oh my God, I can't move, I'm dying, I'm hurting. Stop making to put posts on it and pictures. Just let it go. Just, there is a difference between suffering and pain. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. Stop talking about it. Stop making yourself don't put the attention on what you don't want, because the more you'll resist it, I don't want it to be here. I don't want to deal with it. I don't deserve it. It's not fair. That's it. All you do is talk about it. So it's going to stay here. Let go. Let
yeah.
go with love. And, things are going to start disappearing and becoming more loving and more in ease.
This is where I knew it was going to go with us. It's such a good point. All of this is connected. The mindset literally leads to what is going to materialize. So this is the crux of the whole entire episode, and for the next 3 that'll follow after this. And it couldn't have been started with anyone else other than you and I figuring this out and talking about it. That what
Thank you.
comes to mind is the fact that if you focus on the material goal, the $100 million, the Ferrari, or something else like that, the mindset won't get you there unless you're actually thinking about the lifestyle you're going to have when you have said Ferrari, or the type of person that you become
Yes.
when you become a millionaire. Not just that you get $1 million. You can give someone
Yes.
$1 million and it can be gone in a flash.
Right.
But the $1 million mindset to become someone who is a millionaire, the
Yeah.
value inside that you offer now to people, now millions will come to you because now you're going to be a channel to be able to give to others in a millionaire mindset. I mean, again, Tony
Yeah.
Robbins, one of the biggest philanthropists in the world. He doesn't even
Does
have to,
so
and he
much.
does. He's such a giver.
It's
People have this
unbelievable.
idea inside their head about people that make lots of money. Hence, we're talking about materialism for the topic of the show with mindset. That when they get to that level, they're super selfish and miserly, and they Uncle Scrooge kind of a thing. That's not true. People that
No.
make a lot of money in life love people. They love
Yes.
to give back. They love to share. They do, and
Yes.
that's $1 million
The joy in living
mindset.
is giving.
That's it. And right back to when you were saying before that the whole entire point about life is to find that joy, and you were so right. And see, now
Yes.
now we're towards the end of the episode, so everything's starting to tie in together. This whole entire big
I
conversation with
love
all these
it.
topics,
I love
it's
it.
a big platter, and now we're pulling it in together. So
Yes. 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 Yes.
where where can we go before we end this? And we've got roughly about another 12 minutes on the show time. We're gonna try and keep these to about an hour and 20 minutes moving forward. So if anyone loves these discussions and they want us to get into deeper dives, we're happy to keep going further, something else like that. But we're going to try and make it an hour and 20 minutes at the very beginning and see how the audience flows with it. But we got about
Ah,
another 12 minutes.
nice.
So, what can you offer as advice, as coaching, as some sort of loving support to any of your wonderful listeners? Of course, they're going to be coming here to find you and to listen. And for anyone in the future, what would you like to leave it off with? We got a full 12 minutes. So, the floor is yours. Where would you like to even end with in a mindset, materialism, topics of what we've been talking about today? Go ahead.
I mean, I think we said so much. And the whole, if I tie it all together to a place where
No,
all I want to say is what I say to myself constantly. The only way
no.
to change things is by changing things. So you got to
Mm,
find a way to do a little something different today than what you did before. If you sleep on this side of the bed, sleep on this side of the bed just for today. See how it feels. It's comfort, and getting out of that comfort zone, because that comfort zone is the most uncomfortable place for you. You don't want to be here anymore. You don't like your finances. You don't like your weight. You don't like your relationship. You don't like, everybody in his own. You don't like your job. If you want to make a change, you can. You just have to start somewhere. Nothing. You can't get there from here. There's a journey to go through. So understand that. So you won't be demanding so much from yourself right on for day one, but also don't lie to yourself, and don't be so quick to just tell yourself, it's okay next time. It's okay next, because you are going to have to be honest enough with yourself that when you go to sleep, if you could have done more, not from a place like you could do more. If you just know you were slacking today, you spent 3 hours on social media instead of when you could have spent 2.5, or you ate
mm,
an extra slice of cake where you should have just been settled for that one. Things like that. So you see it without being mad at yourself. You just see it. You observe it. No judgment. I always say there's no good, there's no bad, there's just is. We put the judgment
mm.
on it. I decide if, eating meat is good or eating meat is bad, right? Some people love it. Some people say it's this. You can decide on your own. I decide if right
Yeah.
now wearing this was good or bad, or it's all about judgment, because we're consumed with what we think people are going to think. And that's the ego again. I am what I have. I am what people think about me. I am what I do. Take all of that away from me. Take all the stuff I have. I lost my job, and I have no clue what people think. What am I left with? Who am I? So I want to understand my mindset from a place that every single day, just look at myself a little deeper and give myself the opportunity to change just a little bit if I don't like it. If I like it, stay there and see what happens. Just keep flowing in your journey. But if there are things that you feel like you want to change because you don't like their present manifestation in your life, then understand that there's work that needs to be done. Don't be mad at it. Don't take it heavy. Don't just dwell on the things that are not contributing for your growth. There's only dying or growing, nothing in between. If we don't grow, we die. Stagnant energy means nothing, means you're stuck. And that's where start things start to happen, manifesting diseases, manifesting, all this not very welcomed reality that we would have liked. So stay on top of yourself by, don't say, me, I don't meditate, I don't do, great. But if you are struggling with that noise, and if it's hard for you to sleep at night, or if you find yourself doing all these things that meditation will help, and you heard it so many times, it's the universe way, God's way of telling you you need this in your life. So get out of what you think you are and this definition of yourself. I'm not a meditator. Well, do you want certain things to happen? Then maybe you would have to become a meditator just to do that. And it's not even about meditating or not, it's allowing yourself to detach from that definition
Right.
of yourself. And we have this attachment to what we think we are, and like, I'm a smoker, or I'm not, or I'm this, or I'm that. If I keep telling myself that I want to lose weight, but I'm usually like, there is a tendency for gaining weight in my family, then there's always going to be a tendency for me to gain weight, because that's what I believe in. Change the language. Change the language up here,
Right.
because words have power, and that's why everybody say thought creates reality. Yes, your thought creates that reality, because your thoughts become your words, and it's connected to your emotion, because how you feel is what you think, and what you think about creates a feeling, and that cycle is a never ending cycle. And you will continue to believe in what you feel, and feel what you believe in, and with that create something that you either want or don't want. So if you don't want it, focus on what you want, because that's the only way to manifest it. Focus on what you want. We were talking about it before we started recording. I always say that. That's another beautiful messenger to listen to is Abraham Hicks. Their words are amazing, and they speak the law of attraction. And Esther
Amen.
always speaks when she channels Abraham. She says, the only way for us to know what we want is by knowing what we don't want. But I want to focus on what I
Yeah.
want, because I know I want to be rich, because I don't want to be poor. But am I constantly focusing on being poor, or am I want to focus on being rich? I have to not see
Mhm.
what is, in order to create something that is different. And the only way to create it different is by creating change, little bit at a time. Every day a little something different. And that's the compound. There's compound in money talk, and there's compound in spiritual personal work. And if you compound little things as of change, one day you wake up and you realize, damn, you're a different person. Like, wow, I really am that person that I thought I could be, that I wanted to be, that I believed. Because we graduate our personalities, and we graduate these places. I'm not who I was a week ago. I'm not who I was 6 months ago. I'm not who I was 7 years ago. We constantly graduate and from different levels of ourselves. And the only way, the version I know of me that will speak on stages in front of thousands of people is not going to be the same version of me right now. I have to outgrow and change many different things in order to get there. But that's what I'm doing every single day. That's why I'll be able to get there, because in my now, right now, I'm doing the work, and I'm doing the work on this version. I don't know any other version. I know this version, and I got to be kind to her and compassionate to her, and stop myself when I call myself names that it's not fair, because I don't want to encourage myself from a place of telling myself I'm not worthy. And I want to do all these things of speaking to myself positively, seeing my beauty. That's why I always speak about beauty. And the makeup of language is so easy to get to so many people, women, LGBTQ community, it doesn't matter. I find that it's
Sure.
easier for people to see their inner through their outer. And I always say we're a complete perfection of creation of whatever it is that we choose to believe that created us. And if we can take our time every day to see it and affirm to ourselves how amazing we are, even sometimes we don't believe it. That's the beauty of changing the mindset. You can rewire this whole thing that's going on in here. You just have to say it enough until you start believing in it. So I would probably,
Yeah.
closing with this self-love of just be who you are, work towards becoming, because we're always becoming, and just know that you are constantly and effortlessly the best version of yourself if you just accept yourself for who you are and accept the journey, and just know that it's for you and not to you, and be with love, be with love, be with kindness, be with love. That's all you can do. I promise it brings such good things.
Oh, we love that. Thank you so much. I can only simply humbly say for myself and any of the audience members to listen now and in the future, we thank you for your grateful presence. This has been a fantastic conversation. I hope that other people enjoy it and get something out of it as well. I'm sure that they will. I'm humbly just saying that.
Yeah.
Um,
And
it's
I
been a great
thank you.
conversation,
Thank you
and
for
I'm sure
having me. Yes. And I'm so excited for you,
absolutely
truly. I mean, if the conversations are going to be like this conversation, I can only imagine how much value you're, and not because I think, and that's another thing. See, why do you even feel the reason? I was about to say, not that I think that I want to say everybody going to get a value. Why not? I know they're going to get value from it
right.
because we spoke God and we spoke
Yeah,
beauty and we spoke love, but we so want to make sure
right.
people don't think of it. I don't want people to think I'm arrogant. I'm not. I'm humbly saying that I know I speak love and there's something to value. And I'm grateful if you do. Not everybody will, but those that will find themselves to hear is because they need to be here. So if they're here, I have no doubt they're going to find value. And I'm so excited for you for doing this, and I can't wait to see this and see many more episodes and just share this with as many people as possible.
I definitely would agree, and we have much more to come. And just right now, would we see you again on the show in the future as a returning guest? Is that a
um,
possibility?
Listen, if you'll invite me, I would never say no to an invitation from you, my darling. So
I know that's
I'm
like an
happy
on the
to
spot
be here.
question. Leave a like down and comment down below, requesting her as many times as you would love, because I'm sure that you're all going to love her. So that's a good thing. Now, just in closing notes,
Thank you.
where can we find you? I know that we have Instagram and we have TikTok as
Yes,
well. So to let people know where
yes.
they can find you as well. We've got about a good 6 minutes left. So what have we got?
Yeah, so my social handles are Lulu MUA9, MUA short for makeup artist. So
In the
that's an
description.
easy, yes. And my website is just lulumua.com. And over there you can learn more about my workshop, and you can find different things about my different services on my Instagram. There's a lot of inspiration and videos and posts, and I do speak about the sensual and sexual energy of the goddess woman and self-love. And I just I share, whether it be in writing or in speaking in my reels. I have different content in there, and in the bio there too you can find ways to communicate with me, invite me as a host, or anything like that. So yeah, connect with me. I would love to hear
Again,
from you. I love meeting new people, and always so grateful to have a more reach and know that we're aligned. We see each other. Here we go. We're on the same vibrational frequency. That it's good vibes only.
that's it. Same frequency. It's a good radio station, the one that we're dialed into. That's how it is. And just like you said, if you're
Absolutely.
finding us, you were meant to. It's just the way that it works. The universe
Yes,
works that way. And here's a great thing,
that's
too.
it.
Like we talked about, just to circle back to about 20, 30 minutes ago in the conversation, when you're growing and you grow through us, we love you. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're with us now. You
Yeah.
find us when you find us, and that's when it matters. And if you
Yes.
grow out of us, then that's okay too, and
That's
that's a
okay
good
too.
thing. It's all
That's
right.
it.
We love Tony Robbins. We love Abraham Hicks. We love Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer isn't with us anymore, but well, I guess he's with us everywhere now, right? In
Yeah.
that regard, so
Yes,
he's all
absolutely.
around, and that's
All of it.
we can't not be with him. He
He's
won't be
with me
not
on
with
my,
us.
I
But
don't know if you can see I have his picture in my sacred space too. And, and
okay,
another book
gotcha.
of his. Yeah. He
Yeah.
leads me constantly.
So we thank
Thank
you.
you.
And we thank you all for tuning in. This is the first episode, so we're going to keep on growing and growing from here. And with love and light, we send you off. So find Lulu on all of her socials. I'll have those in the link down in the description down below. And of course, stay tuned for more. We'll have more content coming forward. Find me also on Coach Adam. I'll have the link down there as well. This is the YouTube channel, and due to the wonderful influence of Lulu, there will be a TikTok. I guess I would say
Yay!
so. Yes.
I know I'm going to get you.
So, I said it on the camera, so now I'm committed to it. So
That's it.
TikTok, I'm
We
coming
don't
for
do
you.
fear, baby. We face it face on. Listen, I'm an introvert as much as I'm an introvert. I know the deal with TikTok. It took me a minute, but I'm going to be there to support you and everybody else in here too. Love you guys. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for
Well,
being here, and thank you for listening to this conversation.
thank you again. And that concludes our
Many
first episode of our
blessings.
Rough Sketch Final Draft. Thank you all. Cheers.